Hello everyone and welcome to Blaugrana Everything, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the first match review of the season for what was quite honestly a terrible match of football to have to watch so many times during that game, where I just felt like switching the damn thing off and just doing something else with my life. Unfortunately, because I want to give the fairest assessment of a game, I have to watch all of it even when there's only 10 seconds left, because who knows what could happen. Anywho, nothing is what happened against Getafe, as the match ended 0-0, and what we're going to do here in this match review is I'm basically just going to take you through the negatives and the positives from this match, and I'm going to not even put this team through a team rating. Honestly, that was terrible. Both the manager and the team won't even get a rating in this in this match review, because honestly it's just going to be harsh. It'll feel like bullying, you know what I mean? Anywho, if it's your first time tuning in, please do hit that like button as well as the subscribe button, okay? Let me know you enjoy what you're seeing here. Also, just to help out with the algorithm, guys, drop a comment if you can. Anywho, let's go straight into it here, and because there are so few positives here, I'm just going to go ahead and start with my negatives. And of course, one of the first negatives here is going to be, let's call it squad issues, for lack of a better term. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying something which might not be too strange to anybody's ears here, which is that I wouldn't really blame either Xavi or Laporta for the squad issues that we have currently, especially when players decide that they want to leave instead of stay. But it is something that has plagued FC Barcelona for each of the last 4 seasons. And I say this because in each of those seasons, Barcelona has come into them not even knowing who their starting 11 is going to be. The manager hasn't known who his starting 11, what his starting 11 is going to look like. Unlike, say, maybe Real Madrid, where going into the season, everybody already knows, Ancelotti already knows who is going to be playing. I can't really say the same here of Xavi Hernandez and his technical stuff. Some of it, like I said, because players are leaving, and also because other players haven't yet been secured. But generally what we saw here, I think it's really just, it looked like an unprepared Barcelona, and unprepared simply because of the occasion, okay? I didn't mention this earlier, but Barcelona at the Coliseum, Alfonso Perez, have really got a terrible record. The last 4 visits now, Barcelona have failed to score even a single goal. So it's a pretty, I would say, difficult venue for Barcelona to go to. But at the end of the day, they have to go there, they have to play. And unfortunately, Jose Goalless being at Getafe just means that you're not going to get much of a match of football. And that probably is what exaggerated what's going to be my second negative, which was just a lack of creativity, or should I say continuing struggles against low blocks. Now, one of my more recent videos, which was a pretty long feature video, if I can call it that, was one where I was looking at how FC Barcelona are likely to play this season, and I spoke in there at great length about deep blocks or low blocks, what they are, how they're used. So feel free to check that out so you can understand a bit more here. I'm not going to go into the details there, but I'm pretty sure we all know what a puck bus looks like. And when a team sets up from the start with 6 players in their box, it's going to be a long day. Some of the examples that I have historically given about Barcelona can unlock those deep blocks is, by always holding width, but also keeping a good, or should I say a healthy, number of players in that zone 14 area, just outside that penalty box of the opposition. And today we saw almost none of that, really. It did happen a few occasions, and we did have those runs being made, but when those runs were being made in behind that block, there wasn't really anybody looking to play passes into the area for those players. So that's something which Xavi will probably have to look at a bit more. My prediction, of course, of how Barca would play isn't like what they did today. For starters, I expect Xavi, especially against a team that's going to have this many defensive players, to know from the start that he's going to need to have his full complement of wingers and wingbacks in order to stretch the opposition, okay? It's only by having that overlapping right back and overlapping left back, whilst also having those left wingers and right wingers, that you're going to be able to at least get anywhere near to stretching that back nine that Getafe were playing with today. And it's only when you stretch them that you're going to create chances, and spaces through the middle of the park. But anywho, even when Barcelona did create some chances or create some openings, we do have to say that, one of the things that has plagued this team for the longest, no, one of the things that has plagued this channel from its inception in 2020 have been my complaints about Barcelona's wasteful finishing. And well, we saw that once again here. We had quite a few good opportunities to have scored in this game. Raphinha had a very good chance. Ansu Fati as well had a very good chance, and we couldn't take those chances. And it's a bit worrying to see it coming this early in the season, because usually you'd expect your players to lose sharpness as the season goes on. But I guess maybe just some cobwebs maybe from the start, even though you kind of looked good in preseason. But maybe that is part of Barcelona's problem, that preseason that they had. They didn't really play against teams that would give them a Getafe kind of experience. And when they played teams that did give them some high intensity football, like we saw them against Arsenal, Xavi did complain and say, hey, why are you guys playing with this much intensity? But yeah, I would say, they were definitely unprepared to be playing at the Coliseum. The upside is, of course, that they've played now at the Coliseum. We don't have to worry about that fixture. Probably the only other tough away venue we have to be worried about is Celta Vigo's, but we'll get there when we get there. Let's get to some positives. And, well, I say positives, but I think it's just a positive. There's really just one that I can think of. And I have to say, it's Lamine Yamal here. And honestly speaking, when I saw him getting warmed up and getting thrown on, I was thinking, my goodness, this really isn't the kind of match you want a kid like Yamal in. Because, it's been Getafe. I'm saying Valencia because that's where Goalless was last. And then Getafe are a team that always tend to be very physical in their approach, especially under Goalless. And to bring a young player into the mix, that can usually not always go well. We saw it, with Fati back in the 2020-21 season when he was thrown on and he got really just bullied all over the place. And I was scared that could happen with Yamal, but he honestly made some of our brightest moments in this game, including that guilty chance, you could say maybe, although it was a difficult guilty chance for Ansu Fati, which, I don't know, you're just wondering, can anybody put away chances right now? Maybe Ferran Torres should have gotten some minutes here as well, you could say. But anyway, we did get to see Lamine Yamal, and what he got to do in the few minutes that he played, I thought was pretty good to see. Because, in one of my previous videos where I'm talking about how Raphinha can be Dembele's replacement, I think it's a video where I was looking at, the Dembele situation and him leaving. I did say in there that Barcelona had in Raphinha a, replacement for Dembele, but I wondered about Barcelona's depth options in a case where Raphinha should get injured, or I think I jinxed the guy when I said he's most likely to get suspended, because we did see him get suspended for yellows last time out. This time out, he got a red and he's going to be out. So, I don't know, maybe Lamine Yamal might just be Barcelona's, ace up the sleeve, because it was fun to see how at some moment the Getafe players were even looking a bit scared to approach him. He was just always standing there in open space. Anywho, that's Lamine Yamal being the positive is really the last thing that I had to say here. There's not really so much to talk about with this game. I don't really want to talk too much as well, because I don't really want to talk too much about that kind of performance, especially this early on in the season. And I'll just say, if we're going to look for a silver lining, we could say that, well, last season Barcelona kicked it off with an impressive 0-0 draw at home to Rayo Vallecano. So, maybe this is a good thing. I don't know. You let me know your thoughts in the comment section, though. Otherwise, I thank you all for tuning in, and have a great day. Forza Barça.